G'day. Welcome to my show. I'm Rob Birdsey. This is Widowed Trio and Freedom. Today I have Dwight Hargett, right? Hargett.
Yes, sir.
Sitting in with me today. We got a couple of things I want to unpack. I ran across a post that you had put up, and it's all around self-defense. So I want to kind of get into that. But before we do, you can check us out at Widowed Trio and Freedom on YouTube, and you can actually see us doing this right now live. I've got cameras up. You can see everything there. So that's Widowed. I'm a Widowed Trio and Freedom. Widowed, I'm a widowed dad. Trio, I have two little boys I'm teaching. And I say these stories to get the freedom out there. So we have peace of mind, and hopefully we can help you guys all grow together, you know. So Dwight, welcome to the show, man. Grab that mic and bring it right up to you, and we'll get that sounding pretty good. I'll double check you over here. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Just a bit closer if you can. Maybe bring it on the other side of your Patriot so we can get to see that. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Perfect.
No, I think we're getting out there, and I think we're sounding great. So, welcome to the show. I'm excited. You put a post up about self-defense and how we don't really teach kids self-defense. Now, I'm a bit passionate about this because I've actually seen what it can do for people at a very young age. It's almost like kids pick up languages really fast, way faster than what we can. You know, I've been doing Duolingo for a while now. Still can't speak it.
No, definitely.
Yeah. You do. So you're pretty passionate about kids being able to learn how to, basically it's respect, right? Mm-hmm. Grow respect with each other, and with that, I think it brings power to them. I've seen my kids in general. They've the way how they've grown over the last 4 years of doing jiu-jitsu, especially after losing their mother, you know, to breast cancer. And my eldest son, he's 10 now. His name's Jack. He's such a brilliant kid, actually. He's really smart, and he's all in. But at one stage there, when he was around 5 years old, his mum died. She died at the age of 42, and he was 4, and my youngest was 2. So that's 42, right? Work that out. But as the time was going on, I saw he's going to need some counseling, or he's going to need more to it. So then I put him in counseling. And counseling did a little bit, but it also empowered him to feel like he had more power to be more abrupt, so to speak. You know, it almost fed the fire with fuel. And I couldn't quite understand it. And then I came across an article, and I read about it, how jiu-jitsu and martial arts in general, how it aligns the brain and it brings everything into focus. Yeah, because at that stage, it's a do or die scenario, right? I mean, even though you're practicing and that's not really going to happen.
Sure.
But have you come across that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of like when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you know that you have a threat coming because there are submissions, or even if you're not very comfortable on your feet, takedowns. And when you learn jiu-jitsu, it brings you completely present, because when you kind of feel that like fear or those nerves a little bit, you can't really go anywhere else and then still perform. So in order for you to overcome those obstacles of fear, you need to experience that fear in a safe place.
Right. Yeah, I think that's valid. I mean, now where my boys are, they do it. They're at East Elementary. They've learned how to speak Spanish. Jack speaks it very fluent. He's really good at it. But he's also a mega brain too. You know what I mean? Like I last time I threw a bunch of books at him and said, right, no more screens. Good luck. You're either going to clean the house or you're going to read a book. And dude, he not only ran with that, he annihilated a whole series of books, and now he's just finished his second series of books, and now he's like, Dad, I'm ready for another. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome. He's
one of those types of kids, and I'm so thankful to have a little boy like that. He's going to be a remarkable person in the future, and I'm really excited. But I owe it. I really do. I believe I owe it to jiu-jitsu and how he's grown. And right now they're at Empire MMA, and they're learning to grow. They're learning to strike right now, and they're doing great work over there. And I'm very thankful for that place. You know, they look after us, and they look after others too. You're in Parowan, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have a gym.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell us about that, and when did you get started?
So we started in January of 2021. So we've been open just over 5 years, and that's actually kind of an interesting story because I was in sales at the time. I was selling business technology, and I was actually doing pretty well. I was making pretty good money, but I was really unhappy because the people that I worked for in sales are, they'll lie, or they'll kind of cut corners or things like that. And I'm somebody that doesn't abide by that. So I wanted to feel happy and fulfilled in my work. It was something that was really important to me as a veteran with PTSD coming out of that. I need to be in a good space, and I had an opportunity to teach some classes at the gym on Main up in Parowan, and within 3 weeks I had 30 students, and it just continued to grow and grow. And like I mentioned earlier, we're building a building now, 3,000 square foot red iron barn, that we're really excited. So what we want to do at Patriot Jiu-Jitsu is create something that can help give people a place to deal with their problems. So whether it be like veterans with PTSD, or whether it's, anyone with any kind of trauma that's holding them back from experiencing life in the way that they should, we think jiu-jitsu is a really great outlet that allows people to get that negative energy out and still be around friends. And then from there, get people interested in serving others in the community, because that's really what Patriot Jiu-Jitsu is about, is but helping people to grow so that they can help others. It's a difficult world that we're living in with all the things going on, not just around the world, but like right here at home with inflation, high levels of stress, unemployment, difficulties, things like that. And people just trap all of that trauma inside of their body, and they don't let it out. And so,
and when it does let out, it usually lets out with a snap, and something major, it turns into a catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's not pretty. I mean, I've seen it many times throughout my life through trauma situations, and we kind of talked about that before we went out. Man, what you're saying right now, it kind of hits me right in my heart. You know what I mean? The reason being is because where I grew up, there was a police boys gym. You go to the police boys and you can go blow off a steam, and if you had money, pay. If you didn't, you didn't. You know what I mean? It was funded by the community. I mean, and it was a big community, so it was very warranted. But it was a place where we could hang there with the kid. All us crazy kids. We'd go there, but they were ran by police.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So the cops were right there with you. So later on in life, we all grew up, they watched us grow up. Mm-hmm. They knew what we could do. You know what I mean? A couple of times actually saved our butts when we got into fights in bars and things like that.
Right. That
cop would shove, what are you doing here, Birdsy? You know what I mean? And it was kind of a cool scenario. But I remember a couple of times where I had beef with a couple of kids, and I said to them, let's go to the police boys this afternoon. We'll sort this out. You know what I mean? And we go there, we sign a waiver, and they gave us some gloves and some headgear, and we go beat each other up, and I thought that was so perfect. Mm-hmm. It's something that I think it's lacking these days. Yeah. And if you take it to a fight in the street, I mean, that's just ugly. It doesn't do good things for people, and you've seen it. Street fights are no good, man. Mm-mm. They are so, people don't realize the especially in Australia, they have a king hit thing going on right now. I don't know if you've ever seen all the shorts. Is that a trend? It's a massive trend, and it's been building ever since I was a kid. But they would just come out, and you'd be in an altercation with someone, and one of his buddies would be on the outside, or he would antagonize it, and then he'd be on the outside, and you just come up and wallop you from behind or from the side, or and king hits that they kill people, and that's what's been happening over there. So to see, when people don't understand bare knuckle fighting, you gotta be something else. That is nuts. It
is nuts. I would never do that. I would never do that without a self-defense related reason to do that.
If it was an emergency, sure. But even in the worst case scenarios, when we were kids and we were idiots, we'd always carry 2 lighters in our pockets. You know what I mean? And you just have the lighters in your hand, so if you're going to get into it, it wouldn't break your knuckles.
I thought that was an Asia thing. That's kind of interesting. I did the same thing.
Big time. Yeah. But it helps. I mean, and you hit a lot harder too. You hit a lot harder.
Yeah, and you don't break your fingers.
You don't break fingers,
sockets,
and the way you lock up. Yeah. Anyway, that's another topic.
For sure.
But just the fact that you're bringing this to the community, that's huge. I mean, you're not just doing jiu-jitsu. It's 3,000 square feet. Mm-hmm. That's a feat in its own right. That can't be cheap to how you're putting all this together.
Good friends, good relationships.
community. They're coming together for you.
Yeah, and if I could go back actually to the trends thing that you were talking about, I think today there's been a big push to promote like individual personalities, people being, what do they call them? Influencers, people being an influencer for nothing but entertainment. And they're actually not serving the community. They're actually damaging the community. They're getting other people into doing something that's not only dangerous, but really doesn't serve anyone around them. And where I come from, especially in like Vietnam and Thailand, families are very, very close together. Communities are very close together. People know each other. People say hello to each other. If you get something stolen, if somebody runs by and steals something, you've got like half of the people on the street chasing them. And that doesn't happen here. And I really think that a big part of that is that people have gotten away from serving the community and making their community a better place. And more into how many likes can I get, how many comments can I get, how many views can I get.
Yeah.
And then there's the monetization of that too, that kind of makes that a little more addictive. And so it just takes people away from serving others.
I definitely think, obviously there's always a platform for that. I think we're going to be dealing with that for a while, but now it's almost like clickbaity. Mm-hmm. I think it's on its way out to an extent. I think if people like yourself and myself, we rise up and show people what you're doing. Me personally, I would highly suggest that you put cameras in the place. I highly suggest that maybe you pick a day and you go live and you teach people. Even if you taught people online, where they could just tune in and just see what you guys do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like a basic straight, that would be amazing. I mean, you could put that to the world at that stage. Yeah. Maybe change some people's lives, and maybe they won't. The simple fact that they could do it along with you, grab a buddy, hey, check this out, we'll put it on the TV and let's practice with this guy. Dwight's going to teach us this today. Yeah, that would be amazing. If you could, I would suggest that.
100%. I've thought about it. My wife's really good at that, and she does it for her own business. Yeah. I think that as I get past this fight that's coming up and this building that we're building and, the expansion and everything like that, I might have more time. I guess you could argue.
Yeah. So you do professional fighting. You got a fight coming up.
So yeah, it's an amateur fight, and up until yesterday it was an MMA fight, and then now it's going to be a kickboxing fight. But yeah, 10 days from now.
Wait a second. They just did a change around on you in 10 days to go. What happened?
So I'm actually really fortunate because I have a teammate whose opponent got pulled due to an injury. And it happens. If you don't have an athletic performance coach who's monitoring your progress, your tightness, like things like that, and then giving you the corrective exercises to be able to strengthen what you're making weak, people get injured all the time. And so my opponent injured his shoulder, and my coach, my professor down at Fusion MMA called me and he said, hey, look, he got pulled. I'm trying to find you another fighter. What else would you be willing to do? Would you be willing to do a kickboxing fight, or would you want to go up in weight? And I'm about 10 pounds under the next weight class right now. And I know most people cut. I don't really cut very much, but
you're pretty little as it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I figured instead I would go to kickboxing and take that fight. So
right. I don't mean little. I mean you're very lean. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you'd cut anything.
I take no offense to that. I'm usually the little guy in the gym. At 160 or 165 pounds. You're usually the little guy in the gym. Yeah. But so yeah, I'm excited. I take all of these things as challenges from the universe to either collapse under fear or rise with courage.
Great. I love that. Yeah. No, it seems like you're out for it. And what made you take a fight?
The MMA fight?
Yeah, well, even I mean, just to even go into a ring. So you do jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. What ranking are you in jiu-jitsu?
So I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Okay. I'm a competitor black belt in jiu-jitsu, which means that I've been competing for a very long time. I probably have over 60 jiu-jitsu competitions.
Oh, wow.
And then I've also done judo. I have a fight in Muay Thai in Thailand.
Muay Thai. Those guys are nuts.
Fortunately, we didn't use elbows, so it was a little bit more like kickboxing style because I think it was like a tourist attraction area. And
You're lucky for that, because that's what cuts you up and breaks things.
Yeah, I kind of jokingly say this, but like I'm too pretty to play with elbows.
Yeah.
You know,
Like the leverage you get on elbows, man, that's nuts.
Yeah, and I'm not in it for the brain damage for sure. So back to what you were asking me, coming out of that, like I would say it's like 18 years of competition and training experience. I teach self-defense, and I don't believe anyone can truly teach self-defense without not only learning the self-defense aspect, awareness, mental and physical preparation, all of those steps, but then also experiencing competition and training camps and having people of different sizes try to do different things to you. And so while jiu-jitsu is can be one of the best things to learn for self-defense, I think the next level for me at this point is to do some striking with some people that are bigger than me. And I've been training for 14 months up until now, so I'm ready.
Striking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
kickboxing and Muay Thai.
You're prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, Muay Thai. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. The Muay Thai was a 6-week thing. We had a guy, my buddy Brandon, who actually won the Sin High Belt in his weight class in Thailand, which for an American is a really amazing feat. He's done it twice now too. So yeah, he's awesome. But he was here for 6 weeks, and it's really funny because this is back to what I was saying about challenges. Like the universe gives us these challenges, and we can either fall beneath or rise above. And this guy, he wasn't trying to hurt me. But he taught the class, and then obviously I'm a competitor, so I tried to go after him a little bit. And man, it was like I had never ever fought before in my life. It was like he swept me, he threw me, like kicked up to my head without even blinking, or and so that actually, he was here as I was doing part-time construction. So I would teach jiu-jitsu in the mornings, and then I would go build decks in Bryan Head or in Duck Creek area. And kind of like high altitude training. And then I would go down at the end of the day to train down there under that guy. And I was like exhausted when I went down there, and my brain was always telling me like, just go home, you're going to get hurt. Like all those voices come into your head. And fortunately I have this commitment I've made where as long as I'm not injured, I just have to show up and get sweaty, and then everything works itself out.
The chatter.
Yeah,
Eliminate the chatter. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my coaches always talk about that too, and you would hear it. It's and I honestly think that's healthy. To be honest with you, if you don't have that chatter, you might have something more than you don't know what's going on. One of my buddies, he got super punch drunk coming out of fighting, and we thought he was already done. You know what I mean? Like we're saying, oh, dude, please stop. You know what I mean? But he would pull just to make the money, didn't want to do certain work, and he'd just go make these fights, and they'd pay him well, and good showman. I mean, he could be nose to nose with you, and he'll do a scissor kick and knock you out. You know what I mean? Like in a bar brawl. I mean, this is why we were idiots.
Right. No, people can do things that you can't imagine. There's a guy I talk about a lot, Mikey Musumeci, who's probably like 135 pounds. He looks like he's been putting on some weight, but you'd see him in the street with his glasses and like the funny way that he talks, and you would not think that he could whoop you. But he is it might be more now, but like 4 or 5 time world champion of jiu-jitsu. He goes down to Thailand and trains Muay Thai, and so that's why I think that martial arts coming into people's lives across the United States, which in Asia, every public school teaches martial arts of some kind. So people will learn like, oh, I'm good at fighting or I'm not good at fighting, rather than just listening.
And it's not only just for that, it's for a discipline over there. It's like a lifestyle. It's like going to church and things like that. You know what I mean? It aligns. I mean, it really does align your brain. You know, I've seen it firsthand with my son. He was all over the place. Man, and I don't think I wonder, and I think I'm so lucky that I did what I did when I did it. And I had help doing it too. There's one guy, Aaron, I'll just say his first name. My shout out to that guy because he's amazing. He helped me put my boys through a lot of jiu-jitsu when I couldn't afford anything. And my heart goes out to that guy. I'll always be forever in his debt, you know what I mean? He's a good dude. Yeah. But I'm very lucky to have that because it has taken that rigidity in our home, and my boys now they get to that point, like they climb up and next time I'm choked out. I'm like, okay, I can't do this.
And that builds confidence for kids,
and I love that. I love that. I love that they feel confident. They talk very well. They, man, it just puts everything into perspective, you know, and they have no shame, they're not scared, they're not intimidated to talk to anyone. Like I always push them too. Like if we're on the street and we see a cop, go say good day. You know, and they're like, hey, good day, what's going on? You know, I love that.
Right.
And, you know, they should be able to feel comfortable to do that. Most kids these days don't even go near them, you know, especially when you don't know what their background is too, you know.
Yep. Yeah, and that's another thing I think that jiu-jitsu, and I mean martial arts in general, really helps a lot with is a lot of kids grow up and are told to be quiet. And then, you know, even adults grow up and they're told to be quiet and stop talking and stop sharing.
Some
and like,
should.
Yeah. Every once in a while there's the moment or the time to be quiet. But then also what happens is they become adults and then they forget how to express themselves. And then if they lose track of being able to express themselves, then they lose track of all of the things their body needs, all of the self-care aspects, because they're not going to stand up for themselves because they were told to be quiet too much.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I almost feel like at one stage, I'm a huge sales guy myself, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I've delved down into, you know, all of it. I've read as many books as possible on sales. I've extinguished everything I possibly could. I used to work in Hollywood trying to be an actor. Tried everything, didn't work. We know, you know, I had a great experience.
I don't know if I would be brave enough to do that.
Coming out of that, I mean, it's not easy. It's really not easy.
No.
You've got to go. There's some people down there. I just say to myself, I wasn't talented enough at that time. I'm okay, but I've got plenty of friends still trying down there doing it, and they're doing very well. And they, you know, I'm very proud of what they do. It's not easy, but coming out of that, I said to my wife, I'm sick of being broke. You go to your mum and dad's house and take the boys. I'll go grind out and I'll learn sales, you know what I mean? And I did that. And I come across I call them Guidos, right? The guys that push their agenda to try and sell anything. And I started in the used car game. You know, I could never, like, I know a lot about cars, so whenever I would take a client out, some got angry with me actually, because I would say, okay, hey, we're driving this car right now, and just be quiet for a second. That front ball joint sounds like it's a bit, you hear that dunk, 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 you know, I'd tell them. This is what's wrong with the car. Why are you telling us what's wrong with the car? I'll tell you this right now. If you think that every car on this lot here is ready, perfect, and ready to go, no way. They come off a truck, they get washed, and they get put on the lot. They don't even look. They don't even want to look at what's majorly done unless it's very obvious. You know what I mean? So just assume everyone out there, if you're buying a used car, assume that it's already broken. You know, someone's problem there, they got rid of it, now you got to fix it. Sure. So to close that deal on that car, we put this in. That my boss hated me for it. He got so mad at me one day, threw his pen and everything. Big dude too he was. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not ever going to lie to a person. It's not how I do sales.
That's
so. But the one thing about going through sales is it teaches you to stand on your own back. You know what I mean? Like you understand. It's like people that do Mormon missions and things like that. Man, I take my hat off to them. They're getting 2 years of sales induced, and you start to know your own worth. And I'm noticing you pair that up with jiu-jitsu and these things that come together, like, you're a bulletproof package right there, and you're teaching people this right in Parowan. You know, and Parowan's a growing city. You know, I mean, that's a beautiful place. I have a good friend of mine that lives there. A couple of good friends there. You know, and they love it. You know, they're like, when are you going to move? I'm like, I can't afford to move anywhere, man. Yeah. You know, but it's great that you're bringing that to the community. What are you offering in this building? Like, what are you guys going to do in there?
So we have a plan to extend into athletic performance via our it would be kind of like, I guess, the corrective action for people doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, which would be called Athlete Ranch. And that's going to be our basically healing training, our strengthening training, our power performance training. And that's something that actually, you know, it'll start there, but I really want to get that into schools as well, because teaching people how their bodies work is not hard. They don't have to learn all the Latin. They just have to learn the function of the muscles. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's very easy to teach. So I want to bring that to the community.
So break that down for a second. Let me understand that better.
Sure.
Go.
So
is it like how to use your body, or is it like what your body can and can't do?
So
limitations?
I'll give you an example that's really good. People hurt their low backs a lot. right? So there's two functions of the torso that people don't think about. If you think about upper torso, it has 4 functions. So it can go concave, it can elevate, it can retract, and it can depress. So most people spend so much of their time in protraction and elevation, being tense and things like that. So their neck starts to get tight, their traps get tight, and you can talk about what's the cause and effect, but their middle back stops working well, which means that they can't retract and depress efficiently. If you can't do that when you're playing sports, especially overhead sports or things where you have to produce power, you can hurt yourself very easily by not being able to bring your shoulders back and being able to keep your back involved. The other part of that is that the lower abdomen does the opposite. So your low torso, it actually is designed not to rotate, not to retract and rotate, but only to basically contract and extend. And so people who don't know that, when they go and turn and go to lift things up, a lot of times they use their lower back muscles and they rotate, and then that's causing a lot of like shearing and grinding on the back. And
bulging discs.
And so what rotates is your upper torso. So your upper torso should rotate. Your lower abdomen should stay compact, contracted, especially when you're lifting, when you're running, sprinting, moving, taking a hit, like different things like that. And if you don't know that, it's very easy to get hurt.
That's really cool. It's like the mechanics of things.
Yeah. And can I add something to that?
Please.
So I tore my ACL playing basketball, actually, while I was doing jiu-jitsu training, but playing basketball, and it didn't come from any kind of illegal contact. It came from a lack of stretching. And we call it active stretching in performance, but it's getting muscles to activate on the side that's weak so the muscles that are tight can relax and stretch. And muscles tighten to stop you from doing something. So the muscles that were tightening in my leg and my hip on my left side, where I had the ACL injury and then 7 years later surgery.
Ouch.
Yeah, I was still competing the whole time too. Yeah, so I just had to change my game a little. I had to fight like a lefty, like different things. Yeah, but if those muscles are not working, it's to stop you from doing those actions. But someone without common sense in that field, like me at that time, was like, I can do this, I can do it. So I just keep pushing, and then it just like I had a full tear in my ACL and I was constantly hurting myself. And then I stopped, took a look at it, studied real hard, and I figured out that what happened was my internal rotation on my left leg was not good. Because of the way that I had been treating my body. And so because my left hip couldn't internally rotate, when I landed, that force of the knee coming in like that, my ACL wasn't able to handle that. And so it just completely tore. And all I would have had to do to develop that is not only a little internal rotation, but also hip abduction too, when you're taking the foot away from the center of the body. A lot of people don't do any kind of exercises like that. Their knees and feet come together, and that deactivates your glute muscles and causes more shearing on the knee, meniscus tears, ACL, LCL, all that stuff.
Yeah, so like I get locked up in my back. I mean, I've got some things going on, and the one thing they put elastic band around your knees, and you lay on your back, your upper back sort of thing, and you're pushing your pelvis up.
Sure.
You know what I mean, but as you're doing it, you're pushing out. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, very similar. So there, as long as you can look at a person's body and see how much their hip is turning in, how much their hip is turning out, and ankle flexion is a really big one too. Dorsiflexion, they call it. People get very limited in dorsiflexion, and that forces them to adjust their whole posture. So instead of walking like straight, they have to bend their knees a little so they don't fall backwards when they stand up with straight legs. Right. You know what I mean? So when people come into Patriot Jiu-Jitsu, and this is why no one has been injured in 5 years of training at our martial arts academy, which is unheard of anywhere else, I monitor my students.
I love that.
I watch to make sure they're doing the corrective exercises that we teach them. We call it like prehab, where they're coming in, like make sure you're stretching, shoulders, neck tight. All right, let's do some thoracic rotations. Let's turn this way, that way, get our shoulder blades depressed. And we have 70-year-old people that train. We had a 65-year-old compete and win gold. I'm telling you, we fix people up. That's what we do.
So that's great. So you have a whole gamut that you bring into the equation. I love that. I've been doing those things before I go to bed. The twist. You put one leg over the other knee and back and forth while I'm laying in bed. If I don't do that, I'm super tight on the inside, and it relieves the pain. You know what I mean? And it's like 2 minutes. 5 minutes max, and it's a life changer. You know what I mean? Like, I sleep way better because I do that, things like that.
That's awesome.
So no, and I've had people help me get to that point. You know what I mean? So for what you're doing, it's amazing. It's really a helpful scenario for everyone.
Thank you. And can I add to that real quick?
Please.
This is one of my big things is pain. It's like I've been in pain, right? Like we talked about my childhood a little bit. I've been in pain. As an athlete, I've been in pain. And so when I see someone who I know is in pain, maybe by the way they walk or the things that they talk to me about when they come in and do their free private intro lesson, I want to help them because I know that pain. And so that's what I want to do there. That's what I teach the other guys to do. So even though we train against each other, obviously, we also try to make sure the other person is safe. We try to make sure we're not hurting them. We take extra care, obviously, with the older people that train there. And that creates a culture of people helping each other, which is what the community is that I want for my kids to grow up in. And so it's just the way that we do it, with physicality or martial arts.
So someone coming looking at it from the outside in and wanting to do what you have to teach, they're not only just getting a jiu-jitsu lesson, they're getting lessons in body structure, mechanics, how to use your body. Man, are you guys going to do any parkour stuff or anything like that in that gym?
So I kind of joke about this, but I say that we're like the science lab of violence.
There you
go. We want to learn. We want to learn a little bit of everything. I want to do some stick fighting. I want to do some knife fighting. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
I want to kind of experiment and try everything. So if someone has a need, maybe it's an older person who can't do jiu-jitsu. Maybe they have rods in their back. Maybe they have things that are prohibiting their movement. Like, okay, so let's have a knife instructor come in once a week and teach a knife class.
You're talking about tactical Krav Maga.
Yeah, there's tactical Krav Maga for sure.
I've done a little bit of that. That is crazy awesome. I mean, it stops people really fast, and whatever they're using against you, use it against them. Yeah, it's like leverage.
And one of the things that we can bring into Krav Maga, which is a little different, and a lot of world championships talk about this, is training playfully. Like, not everybody can train like that, and training like that hurts people, scares people, and I want everyone to love martial arts. So when we train with someone who's older or someone who's smaller than us, like flow, slow, not hard, no braking mechanics on the older guy that you're training with, so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's like anything my kids do, they play the piano and stuff like that too. And Jack just the other day was like, I can't get it. And it's like, dude, slow yourself down. Get the muscle memory in it first and then speed it up. Yep. And he did. And I said, we're going to drill this for a little bit. We're going to spend 20 minutes on this song, watch. And I work with him. And by the time at the end of the 20 minutes, he was like, and he was flowing. But it's just muscle memory, getting that used to it. So I appreciate that you're taking the time for people to break that down and understand it.
Thank you.
We're coming to the end of our hour. That disappeared so quick. I'm definitely going to bring you back. I want your life story, but I need a chunk of time for that. And usually it takes between 2 to 3 hours. So I'll post more about that as we get closer to it.
For sure.
So you're in Parowan. You also teach self-defense here too, right?
Yeah.
At SUU.
Yep. So I'm the adjunct professor of self-defense at SUU. And I really, really am so honored to be able to do that. In Asia, being a teacher is one of the best professions that you can have.
Honorable.
So I love it. And if I could just say real quick, I want to get that into middle school. I want to get that into to high school. With all the bullying things that we see and hear about going all over the world, I think every kid going to public school deserves to learn how to protect their boundaries.
That is exactly the reason why I brought you in, because I read that post. You put a post up about that, and I reached out to you, which we put this together in like overnight.
Yeah,
and
12 hours.
I'm there pretty much. I mean, I think, especially for the school and the structure that's out there, I think that they need it. There's the bullies these days. They need to be put in their place, and they need to learn how to respect power, and some bullies just have all this power and they don't know what to do with it. I've known bullies throughout my life that once they eventually learn how to respect the power, they become really good people. As a few I've had fights with, you know how you are, we're friends now, and I'm so thankful for that. But to be able to get out of your own skin and to learn a martial arts to do that is a whole new ball game. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
No, I guess the biggest thing for me would be if you if you have any kind of pain, or if you feel like you are closing off, this is a little bit more to my veterans. I have a veteran nonprofit that we're working on, a suicide prevention program called Good to Grow. And, if you are a veteran and you're listening to this, like, first of all, please come talk to me. If you are too shy to come talk to me, talk to somebody that you know, start to share, and don't be alone, because you're not alone.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your service with that too. Yes,
sir.
That's not easy. And I met a few veterans out there. I've had a few on this show, and I'm very thankful. They bring the best lessons, honestly. Like, you guys have had the most life experience, especially the PTSD and things like that. Oh, that's bone chilling. You know what I mean? It really is. And no one knows nothing about it until you've actually gone through some major trauma that sets you up into that, and so thank you for helping people in that way. I think that's really cool.
Yes, sir.
Where can people find you?
So we have a website, patriotjujitsu.com, and we offer a free private lesson to anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about self-defense or jiu-jitsu. And come in and talk to us. Everyone's really happy to have new good people around.
If people came to you and said that they heard you on the Birdsey show, would you open up a week's free training or something for them to see if they like it?
Yes, definitely.
Done. Say our name. Yeah. Say you saw us here and give it a whirl. I hope it works out for you, man. I hope everything goes really good. I have one last question for you.
Sir.
I could do with anything in life. What makes the difference?
Say that one more time.
What makes the difference?
What makes the difference? People make the difference. Having a person to be responsible for, like my kids became to me, that's what makes the difference. That's why I show up. When it gets difficult, I just remember that I'm an example to my kids, and I want them to know that humans are superhuman. We're all superhumanly powerful, and until we can learn how to grow effectively and uncover our trauma and let it out, we're gonna be very ordinary.
Yeah. So rise above.
Yep.
I like it. Thank
Always.
you so much, Dwight. I appreciate you being here, and
Yes,
I hope
sir.
this helps you guys. And thanks everyone for out there tuning in on